The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
You know, there's something scary about Miles the Monster showing up and deciding he's hungry for race cars, and for some reason we keep feeding him week after week, time after time. Leagues and cars decide to go into Delaware and feed Miles the Monster here at this beautiful 1 mile concrete track, high banked ovals, and great action to come along. And well, I tell you what, I can't wait to bring it to you, and we'll see who Miles claims here yet again. Welcome everybody here to PTR TV, where this week it is the ARCA Culture Designs 125 here at Dover Motor Speedway. It is going to be myself, Brad Dalton, here in the booth, pushing the buttons here behind in the truck. And well, who's joining me this week? Well, it's Dirt. Dirt, sir, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, and I think most of the drivers are doing pretty good, but we'll see how long that trend continues as we are at one of the more difficult tracks on the schedule. Gotta love Dover. Broke ground in 1967, hosted its first race for NASCAR in 69. It's been hosting this ARCA series since 1998, I believe, and currently running the ARCA East Division specifically every year after year. And it's a fun one. It's definitely unique for ARCA. I know in real life the ARCA cars were actually pushing faster laps at this track than the Cup Series, and that remains true in the game. So be a lot of action and a lot of fun tonight, but we do have the starting grid order. Caleb Brown on the pole with a 22.495. He's got Chad Winstead, his outside P2 in that 97. Row 2 going to be Brad Kress in third, TJ Wood P4. P5 belongs to Sean Bradley with Alan Kundman right behind him, or right beside him, I should say. P7 going to go to Kyle Gresh. Adam Bowes going to be P8. Running at the top 10 is going to be Matt Harmon, Terry Brooks.
Yeah, Terry Brooks, our series sponsor here. Big shout out to him. Kyle Dewey in P11 here with Cameron Kane in the Aflac car in P12. Walker McAnulty in P13 with Al Corey, the boss man, back to the default Canadian Tire car here in 14th. 15th place on the night, Zach Nerney with Jason R. Benson. The R stands for, well, this might be ridiculous, in P16. Naj Crutchley there in P17. Mark Herzog in 18th. Jacob Holm P19 and P20, James Honeycutt. Last 9 here on the grid. It's Jarrell, it's Armstrong, it's Ruelas, it's Fisher, it's Samson Lewis Jr., it's Timothy O'Connor, Daniel Williams, Nathan Hemperly, and we finish things out with the 811 of Gary Wright here. Andre, I tell you what, man, this is an exciting one. How many cautions are you expecting? What are you thinking here on the night?
Well, I think it could go either way. I think we're going to get either a lot of cautions or there's going to be very few. Dover's not much of an in-between track. We do have some keys or race details for the event. Full fuel load, they're going to go about 70 to 80 laps on a run. One set of tires behind the wall, so they get one change. And it's going to be 14 times drive-through on the penalty points, 20x, and you're getting disqualified. So keep away from those walls, keep away from the bumpers if you want to stay in this event. But that one tire change is going to be interesting. We did hear over the radio that these guys are somehow magically burning up the left front more than the right front on an oval, which I've never heard of in real life, but quite amazing to see. Curious how it affects the handling. And as they round out of turn 4, the green flag is out. We're wasting no time here at Dover. And what a jump on the outside. That 97 immediately going to get 2 car lengths ahead down into turns 1 and 2. It's going to leave Caleb Brown scrabbling for position there, trying to catch back up out of the corner, down the back straightaway. It's going to be a huge run for P2, but I don't think he's got anywhere to take it quite yet. Now, Dover has a lot of grip with these cars. It can kind of be a little bit one lane, Brad, but as the tires wear, you're going to see the top start to come in. Going to be a lot of good battles.
A lot of good battles indeed. One of them right now on your screen. Sean Bradley, TJ Wood bringing things through and around as they go to try to challenge through. Brad Kress there in that Flow Racing number 9 taps the wall, and you'll see a bit of this side-by-side stick through as well. Back in the back here, there's some good battles. Zach Nerney here in the PTR TV car trying to work his way through the field currently, getting around the 33 of Kyle Dewey, because can Kyle Dewey do it? Right now the answer is no. This is going to be a challenging race for everyone, and keys to the race that we came up with here in the booth. Well, manage the tires. We talked about the left front versus the right front and the tire wear, and in about 25 to 30 laps we're going to see about a second of tire wear. Think long term. You've got one set of tires to get all the way through this, and then, well, dirt. This is the easiest one to say. You're not Carson Hocevar. Don't try to do what Hocevar does. Focus on your race.
Yeah, it really does come down to survival, and if you're driving like Hocevar, you're not going to have a whole lot of that. At least those around you will not have a lot of survival. So it's a tough track. You want to make sure that you're in it to the end. Probably going to be some attrition. So as long as you stay on the track, you don't have to be the fastest guy in the world. You can still have a good points day. Just get around those guys that take themselves out of the race or get involved in some sort of misfortune. A bit of a tricky pit road here at Dover. You have a very short amount of space to get down to it. You just saw those barrels just barely on the bottom of the screen. It is pretty much right in the middle of the corner. And it's difficult to get woed up in time, so that one mandatory pit stop is going to be quite the factor as well. But live scenes on the track, these two drivers, Chad Winstead, Caleb Brown, they have driven away with it, Brad. They are almost a second up on the next pack of cars behind them, spearheaded by Kress, TJ Wood, Sean Bradley, Kyle Gresh, all there. 4 cars under a blanket battling for the final step of the podium. And already we're seeing a little bit of multi-groove. Now that 9 car has been rocking the high line. He made it work for a lap or two. I think finally Wood may get it done right there, but I tell you, the 9 held on the outside longer than you'd expect. So as these tires wear, I think it's going to get better and better.
Yeah, Brad Kress, again, I think thinking that long-term strategy here, not looking for too much of a battle. Back behind the number 3, you can see Alan Kunman going underneath Kyle Gresh, Sexy Waltrip, who won at his least favorite track Sunday. He won at Echo Park Speedway, and the first thing he said is, man, I hate this track. And I tell you what, if I can win at tracks I hate, I'd be winning a lot more, let me tell you. But that's a skill issue conversation because I tend to hate every track because I'm just not good. Zach Nerney, Walker McAnulty here, and Matt Harmon having a good little 3-car scrap in the back for the top 10. Nerney going to work his way down the inside here, try to get past. He's trying to hold off McAnulty, and then he's going to go there through. Harmon on the inside, gets a good run on the entry. And let's see if he can capitalize on exit. Definitely looks like he does. For now, at least, but Harmon gets a run down the front stretch, and then that means that Nerney can't close it up. He's going to try here. Let's see, can he settle in? And that time he clears Harmon, and now he's got the run.
Yeah, we got to move down low. Looks like he's going to try to make it stick, maybe make another move there, and it is going to work. Looks like McNulty going to pick up another one on the board. Meanwhile, Gresh kind of holding on there. These guys kind of quit battling amongst themselves. No more too wide. They've kind of moved down to that bottom groove to just about 1 lane up, kind of getting single file. And this is that thinking long term you were talking about, Brad. You don't want to get too racy too early, especially when you got to save this set of tires until at least lap 70. But maybe a little bit further than that, depending on how far you want to stretch it. I say at least until lap 70, but the race is only 120 laps, and they've got about 78, 80 laps of fuel. So that's a pretty big fuel window. We could see some drivers try to take a massive undercut because realistically you could pit as early as lap 50 if you really wanted to. And that would get you a lot of time on fresh tires. That would give you a lot of track position. But then you're trying to finish the race out on old tires. But either way, the strategy...
I wouldn't be surprised if a few guys take it. Somebody somewhere is going to be thinking that. And if they're thinking that they're the secret tire whisperers, Brad Kress gets a little bit of a wiggle there out of 4, settles in down low. He's able to pick up the pieces there and keep it going. But Kyle Gresh going to look through Adam Bossy there behind in the 83 Twitchmobile. Looking along as well. I think the big key for anyone who wants to do that is Are you the tire whisperer? Will you get that car to the end? And I'll tell you somebody who I'm looking at all the way to the end. We're going to jump all the way back to P16 here. Al Corey, the boss man. He's been running 23.2s consistently. Since the beginning, he hasn't ran a faster lap than a 23.298. Meanwhile, the leaders, their best lap, Chad Winstead, was a 22.630. You know what Chad Winstead ran last lap? A 23.297. So Al Corey pacing with the leaders here, hasn't paced any faster than that. I think he's really thinking tire strategy and really thinking that long-term run here.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the right play to make, because another thing to think about too is if we get a late race caution, if somebody did so happen to maybe not take that set of tires when they pit for fuel, and they kind of play a gamble and they say, hey, I'm going to save those tires in case we get a yellow flag, and then we get a caution, 10, 20 laps to go. If you're that one guy who still had a set in the pits, it's almost a guaranteed win, but it's going to be a huge risk because you're not guaranteed to get that caution, and you will lose time if you stay out on this initial set of tires too long. You even, at a certain point, because this is a concrete track, it's going to be pretty rough on these tires, you risk a tire blowout. So, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could play this race. It's only 125 laps, pretty short in the grand scheme of things, but with the way that the tires and fuel are set up, it really opens the door to turning this into a race of more than just speed, but a little bit of a strategy game as well. So that's pretty fun. But meanwhile, these two still kind of maintaining their gap, about a second up on that second group. TJ Wood trying his best to catch up, make himself a part of this battle, make it a three-car run. But so far, it's taken him a little while. He's chipping away at it lap after lap. He has gained about a tenth over the last 10. But he's going to need to pick up the pace a little bit more than that if he wants to get there. And believe it or not, Brad, the draft is sort of a factor here. These cars are so fast, not lifting a whole lot in the corners. And on fresh tires, you're barely going to be lifting at all. So dirty air in the corners is bad, but draft on the straightaway is going to be good. So kind of another thing they got to keep in mind. We're going on board. You can see he was going about 160 at the end of the straightaway. He's only getting down to 150 in the corners. So that is how quickly they are getting through these corners. I mean, barely slowing down at all, not shifting at all. RPM staying pretty decent. These guys are boogieing around this track, and draft can play a factor.
And just keep in mind, he's running all that while he's battling side by side with Sean Bradley. So if you're, just running through, not having to battle, not having to mind a car beside, you can probably carry a bit more speed attack there. Terry Brooks behind, but Adam with a bit of a wiggle. That kind of scared me a little bit. These guys, I think, are starting to really feel the effects of that tire wear that you've been talking about, Andre, and that's really starting to play things through. Kyle Gresh here down the inside of Terry Brooks. Again, got to show a lot of love to Terry Brooks here. Higher ARCA season, bringing you full coverage here on PTR TV from top to bottom, so a lot of love has to go to Terry Brooks for that. As we continue along here, already the fifth away, already a fifth of a way through this race. Caleb Brown and Chad Winstead have swapped positions here up in the front, and that is allowing things to sort of settle through. But as you said, they're maintaining that 1 second gap. Here's Kyle Gresh battling it out with Nerney. Nerney deciding to go on an early charge. He's going to work his way up through the high line. Let's see if he can work his way around Mr. Sexy Waltrip here. Seems like he's able to work through without too much of an issue here. Kyle Gresh going through it around. Here, the 2025 Daytona winner and 2024 Martinsville Beer Berry. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think he won the 2026-24 in his split as well, if I am not wrong. I've been known to be wrong a time or two, so don't quote me on that. Adam Bossy, Sean Bradley going through, and here comes Terry Brooks with a charge up the inside. And I tell you what, some of these guys look like they're not worried about saving early on.
Yeah, and he's going to get way tight out of the corner. You see him have to steer down away from that safer barrier. It was a huge send through that corner, but it did gain him that position. So Bossy going to be up to P7. Now he's got his eyes on Sean Bradley, but there it is. Didn't get so lucky that time. Into the outside wall. That's one, that's two. That's going to be almost 3 positions lost as he is now trapped on the outside. Got some heavy right front damage. We'll see if that affects the speed of that car. A little bit loose and some squirming out of that number 27 behind him. Kyle Gresh, I think, might have kissed the wall a little bit, calibrated it, didn't get it quite as good as Bossy did, but he did test it out, feel it out, and now that is going to cost him a little bit of time. So they're going to stay single file here. save for that number 9, who is back to the bottom. And I think you're right, Brad. These guys, at least some of them, have decided, you know what, we're not going to be saving. We're not going to be taking it easy. We're going to try to get some positions if we can. And, it kind of makes sense. Again, this is a track that can be difficult to pass at. You kind of got to set them up and knock them down. You got to work them over several laps. You don't really just dive in and make that move happen in the blink of an eye. So these guys getting aggressive now might pay off later on and afford them the ability to be a little bit more patient towards the end of the race. But here we go. Number 83, Bossy, he's going to get around Sean Bradley. Made it look easy. I mean, he's on a charge, Brad. That is the second overtake in 3 laps, and he's not too far behind TJ Wood up there. That 83 has got some speed under the hood.
Yeah, it does. It's looking really good here. Another big hit into the wall there. That's Walker McAnulty going through and along as Terry Brooks was going to try to get past Sean Bradley. A dive from Nerney to the inside. This middle of the top 10 here, they're really battling things out hard as they go, and they've actually managed to close the gap to Caleb Brown and Chad Winstead. Caleb Brown lapping around underneath Zach Armstrong. There's a little bit of contact there as Caleb Brown is trying to go through. Armstrong, it looks like, trying to stay out of the way and unfortunately hitting the wall a little bit. Not ideal for him as more cars will work their way through, but with that little bit of a fiasco, I mean, that allowed Alan Kunman to close things up. So now you've got 3 cars within just a blink of an eye of each other up in the front as they go. 1.4 seconds back to TJ Wood as he's battling with Adam Bossy coming through. And Adam Bossy trying to go through. Behind them, I mean, you've just got the hornet's nest ready to go. You've got a lot of guys here who really want to find their way along, but they've got to work their way through that lap traffic. That number 11, there's contact, and they save it. They save it. How did they save it?
I have no clue, because I thought that was going to be a wreck in the making. Somehow they are able to gather it up. We'll take a look at the triple bypass replay and try to dissect exactly what transpired here. So in the outside wall, it was that black machine, and then everybody's scrambling to get around him. I believe that's the number 11. There we go. The number 11 running the high line looks to be all right. They're going to go 3 wide for just a moment. Just a little bit of contact there is what hooked them, kind of got glued together. And it was that scrambling of everybody trying to get around him that nearly caused the second incident. Everybody had good spatial awareness there. That very easily could have been worse than it was, Brad. But these guys did a great job keeping it going.
But that has opened up some massive gaps here now. Adam Bossy has managed to pull out a second now. 1.8 seconds up now on TJ Wood, who has, again, that proverbial hornet's nest side by side back behind. I saw Nerney absolutely demolish the wall there coming off the exit of 4. And then, so it's 2 seconds now, TJ Wood to Adam Bossy. And then from Adam Bossy, it's 1.1 to Kunman, Winstead, and Caleb Brown as they go. And I mean, this is just a side-by-side fiasco. I haven't seen Dover drive like this before, personally, so I was expecting everyone to kind of just settle into a rhythm, the field spread out, and just run their laps. I wasn't thinking we were about to see some of the best racing I've seen in a hot minute here in ARCA as we go 3 wide through with Brad Kresh, Sean Bradley, and Nerney. They settled it out to 2 wide, but doggone, these guys are not letting up.
No, they are not, but it's really been clean. I mean, we're getting 2, 3 wide at times, and it's been a very clean race. Even that scary moment we had, they did a great job managing, and this is a really fun race to watch. And you mentioned pre-race that this is 3 years since the founding of this league, pretty much to the day. So a bit of an anniversary event for the league. We got a little bit of a graphic there. And what an anniversary it is. I mean, this has been a phenomenal race. I'm sure these drivers are having a blast out there. And if we can keep it green, that would pretty much be the best anniversary that the admins could ask for.
Yeah, lots of love from all the admins to every driver, everyone who's been around for Triple Bypass since its inception 3 years ago. February 26th, 2023 was the first exhibition race of Triple Bypass. And the winner of that one, well, it was this number 27, Sexy Wall Trip himself, Kyle Gresh, won the first race of Triple Bypass and won the most recent race of Triple Bypass, Sunday night at Echo Park. You got to say, some things just right themselves here as he's trying to go for a pass. We're still holding that 2x2, and the gap now from TJ Wood to Adam Bossy, 3 seconds. But the top 4 they've compressed things up. Let's check in here. You've got Caleb Brown 0.3 of a second back to Winstead. Then it's Cudman and Bossy. And Bossy looking to make a charge here. Lap 40 of 125. So we're going in with 80 laps to go here. And we were told that the fuel window on the night is around 78 to 82-ish, give or take a little bit what you save. So I gotta say, if you do a little bit of mental math, you could say that the pay window is open, that the fuel window is open if you didn't want to split this race right down the middle. I don't think I'm going to see anyone worry about that, but you never know. Adam Bossy down the inside here to Cunman. Pass for P3 is on. Pass for P3 is done. Pass for P3 is dusted, and I thought that Alan Cunman was going to get a bit of a hit there on Adam Bossy and maybe knock him there into 4. He doesn't, and Adam Bossy immediately on the charge after Winstead.
And here's what amazes me about this. Bossy has been driving probably harder than everybody in this top 3. And 42 laps in, it doesn't seem to be showing as far as tire wear. I remember me personally, I won a race at Bristol in another league a long time ago because there was something weird with the tire model. The tire wear just was not as severe as people thought it was going to be. And I was the only one going all the way, driving as hard as I could the entire race. They were saving, and they thought they were going to come back to me, that I was going to fall to them, and it never happened. And I got to win with Bossy because, I mean, he's just charged through this field, still running really good laps, battling for second place. He is a threat. He is a real threat. And if those tires don't start to plateau, you better look out.
I definitely think that Adam Bossy has something in his pocket that we're just not aware of here at this point, because we're watching here going through. I mean, this is just really, really fun to keeping the SimCam on board here. Big shout out to Whiplash SimCams for bringing you all these amazing scenes that you're seeing here around virtual Dover. Front 4, and then Kyle Gresh. It's nearly a straightaway distance here that splits them up as they've all started to work past the 26 of TJ Wood. Terry Brooks is through. Brad Kress is through. Kyle Dewey is the next car who needs to make a charge around, and I don't think he's going to do that yet. He's certainly looking like he wants to try it, though, as he goes along here. He's going to push to the inside. Wood is going to stay to the outside, and there we go. Don't knock on wood, but I think Kyle Dewey has made it past the DeWalt car of TJ Wood. Here we go to the inside again, trying to make it through, and maybe Affleck's going to come through, buy some insurance, and try to follow his way along as he goes. This has been really fun to watch all the way through. A little bit of a wall tap there from TJ Wood as he's trying to stay out of the way of Dewey as they go, and I think he's going to be cleared, and watch out for Cameron Kane trying to clear as well, and Matt Harmon. Let's just make it 3 a party.
You mentioned Kyle Gresh in P5. We must have missed a lot of passing there as we were following along with Bossy, because last time I looked at that number 27, he was P11. He was behind Cameron Kane, and he was not showing a lot of pace. Now all of a sudden he is 6 positions up from that in the top 5, trying to reel in Kunman in P4. So a lot of speed there, impressive moves. I did not, again, it happened so 11. Here is league admin Al Corey, P13 currently. Last lap was a 23.9, best lap 23.2, so either he's saving or we're starting to get a little bit of tire wear at maybe a flip of a coin.
So remember earlier that the leaders were running like 22.7s, and Al had stayed consistent at that 23.2, 23.3, and he had like a multiple second gap to this pack up front. Notice he's now in the mix, going for passes on Sean Bradley, diving that ARCA car to the inside, trying to make it stick here around the 77. He's starting to contend. Al Corey has played the long-term strategy game of, you know what, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, and he has very much set himself up here. He should clear Sean Bradley no problem. Now he's got to get past Harmon and TJ Wood as they go. But yeah, he's really gotten himself in a position. Adam Bossy got past Chad Winstead up for P2. Now it's a battle for the lead here. Adam Bossy, Caleb Brown. Lap 51 of 125. We're approaching half race distance. And I tell you what, I still don't have a good answer for who's going to win, who's not going to win, because they're going through. And while we watch this battle start to come to fruition, we didn't talk about this earlier, but here is your scores of the season here in Culture Design's ARCA series. Caleb Brown up at the front with Walker McAnulty in second. Winstead, Bossy, Brad Kress, Harcum, Cameron Kane tied there in P6, and then Herzog, Harmon, and Al Corey, your top 10 in points here in the Culture Designs ARCA series for season number 10. This is a lot of fun to watch. Bossy putting some pressure here, Dirt, and I gotta ask, who's your money on at this point?
I got to go with Bossy. I mean, I've not seen anybody make the passes that he has made. The pace that he's had to reel in these leaders and now contend for P2. The only driver that I think has anything for him might be Gresh with all the passes he made, but Gresh's kind of mired in traffic now. Brad Kress actually got back around him, so here we go to the bottom. The 83 is going to stick it to the blacktop right at the bottom of the concrete, and my goodness, I cannot believe the speed he's able to maintain on the bottom. Usually, you'd have to breathe the throttle a little bit more. The car on the outside would pull up alongside you, get back around. Now the lap car going to be a bit of a pick. The top lane is going to be blocked, or will he go down? This is going to determine the battle right here. He's going to move all the way to the top. They're going to be 3 wide momentarily. Advantage to Bossy. The number 17 stuck on that outside is going to get a good run down the straightaway, and he's going to get clear again. It was a valiant effort by the 83, but a huge, huge run is going to secure P2 for Winstead for the moment. Or I'm sorry. Our graphic is a little bit backwards there. It's showing... I'm sorry, that's the battle for the lead. I'm very confused. I got turned around. The 17, last I looked, was a little bit further back. But for the lead, tried to make that move. Lap traffic played a factor. Now he's back on the bumper. But to answer your question, Brad, that is my pick.
I think I'm going to actually throw a pick at Al Corey here. I think just with that long-term tire strategy, he's kind of piqued my interest with that. And if he can continue to maintain that pace that he's doing here compared to the leaders, I mean, he's maintaining some of the fastest car on the field. Here we go, though. Adam Bossy, Caleb Brown. Here we go. Your pick versus Caleb Brown. Let's see how this goes. Down the inside, the 83, 17 to the outside. Can he make it stick? He's certainly going to give it a try. They go through. Watch out, though, for Chad Winstead, who wants to work his way around the outside. If he can make it work, it would be amazing. The outside hasn't seemed like the fast lane the entire night, but here we go through, and no, Adam Bossy able to defend, but now he's got a problem. Does he attack? Does he defend? What does he do here? Because he's now got himself in a bit of a pickle. He's got a fast car behind, a fast car ahead, and what does he want to do? It looks like right now he's going to settle up and try to go for another send to the inside.
He is trying everything to make it happen, and it looks like it's going to be successful this time. Can he slide up? No, he cannot, not quite. Caleb Brown able to just barely keep the quarter panel on him, but I don't think he's going to have that advantage this time. 83 is going to slide up. That is going to be P1 in the books for Bossy all the way from midfield to P1. Tires got to be screaming at him, but he doesn't seem to notice. And now it is a 4-car battle as these guys have been going side by side, slowing each other down a little bit. That has allowed Chad Winstead and Alan Kunman to catch up quite a bit. But look at that. Ever since Bossy took the lead, he's already put 3/10 on these guys. He's already starting to pull away. Now looking back at that number 23, a little bit further back in the group. Got a couple of cars up ahead. Lap car, that is the number 11 that did get into the wall earlier. Pretty heavy. A little bit of damage there. 2 laps down as they run. And I'll tell you, there is action all over this track. Almost hard to keep track of everything going on, but what a run it has been for that 83. It'll be hard pressed. Now, Al Corey, you made him your pick. Not a bad pick. He has been managing the race. You said at the start of this thing, the key factor might be thinking long term. And I feel like Al Corey might be one of the very few drivers who has been thinking long term. So we'll see if that comes home to roost. But Terry Brooks going to break the window here. He's going to be the first car down pit road. And that is going to open up this pit cycle for everybody. A little bit early. Could have stretched it further, but he wanted those fresher tires. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, and he opted to take 4 tires here and fuel. He comes out, he'll get through, and that will be, I think, kind of the catalyst to start seeing who goes in, who comes out. He's right now trying to blend back into traffic. He'll come out 2 laps down, so that kind of gives us an idea of where things are at. Adam Bossy already pulled 0.8 of a second up on the leaders here. Kind of ridiculous, I'm not going to lie, to see Adam Bossy absolutely pulling the time here. More cars possibly looking to pit as it goes, and yes, it will be Sean Bradley, if I can click on his name, the next car in. So a couple of guys opting for these early pit stops as they go, and Sean Bradley going to go ahead and bring this in, and we'll see what he can find here on the night as he goes here in that Duffmobile. and trying to see if anyone else follows through. Caleb Brown going to follow through from the front of the field. Now that's telling to me that Caleb Brown has decided to pit from the front of the field, because that tells me that he thinks that there is something more on fresh tires.
Definitely could be. We saw a little bit of fall off in lap time. Not as much as I was expecting, but definitely some fall off. Now the 17, who did get overtaken for the lead, he's going to come down pit road. There goes the 77, also out and away, but coming in before Adam Bossi, this could be a great way to get the lead back, take that undercut, get ahead of him through the cycle, and then see what you can do. And Bossi's going to stay out again. He is not pitting this time, seems to be committed to the long run. Interesting turn of events here. Got dueling strategies.
Yeah, Bossi in no rush to come out. There is Caleb Brown down on the low side coming through again, going 2 laps down to pit, which is very telling as we have more cars in here, more cars going laps down. Mark Jarrell is in now. Brad Kress is in as well, about to come out of the pit lane. Hard hit to the wall there from the car in the background. Not exactly sure who that was, but that was a hard hit going through. I want to say that was... I'm not going to try to guess because I'll probably guess wrong, to be honest with you. So, but good hit to the wall from whoever that was as cars are starting to work their way through. There's Chad Winstead. There's Alan Cunman. Here is Brad Kress coming through. So Brad Kress is the first car 2 laps down as the pit cycle goes. He gets past the 97 of Winstead. Now, if he can get up here and get past Adam Bossi, he will be 1 lap down on the run, so he'll be in an okay position. He's got Caleb Brown to follow him along here, so we'll have to see just how this all plays out. The pit cycle is when everything gets absolutely mixed up as it goes. Nerney into the pits now as well as he goes through and along, and Kress again trying to chase down Bossi. Last lap Adam Bossi 23.875, Brad Kress 23.31 on the last lap, so he's very clearly got some pace, and Adam Bossi pulling all the way down to the apron. He's into the pits this time by.
He's got a bit of a mistake there, and he had a little bit too much momentum, came up on the concrete. His tires were split, 2 tires on the concrete, 2 tires on the blacktop. That's a recipe to get loose, but he was able to keep it under control. Got a couple cars behind him. Those are the cars that were directly behind him for position. Number 97 and the number 3. They're going to be nose to tail, and I'm assuming they're going to take their tires. But let's go ahead and look at Bossi real quick, Corey. Brad, not Corey. And we'll see if the jack stand goes up. I'm not seeing it. He might be. Oh, yes, the right side was up. There goes the left side. So he is indeed taking that 1 set of tires that will not be available. We were so panned out, it was hard to tell at first. Adam Bossi, now where does he cycle out?
Let's see here. This is going to be the important one, and the comparison to him is going to be to that number 17 of Caleb Brown. So that is really the gap you want to watch right now as he goes through. He's coming out, going through, and while I'm not Corey, I try to click buttons as quick as I can. Let's see. So there's Adam Bossi. Here is Caleb Brown. Front stretch coming out of 4. So there's a little bit of a gap here that he's going to have to make up. That is how much time it cost him to stay out on those older tires. So it is a considerable gap here as it goes. Gap currently sitting between Caleb Brown and Adam Bossi about 3.5-4 seconds. So we should see that time close up a little bit as Adam Bossi is on the slightly fresher tires as we're going into 50 laps to go, and just have to sort of wait and see where this lands here. Kyle Dewey, Kyle Gresh, they are currently up front. They are running 23.97s. And then you've got Caleb Brown, again, the first car on fresh tires, 23.22. Adam Bossi last lap, 23.0, along with Chad Winstead, 23.0. Alan Cunman, 22.9. So you've got a lot of pace out of fresh tires. The problem that I see is they're going to push these tires really hard, really early, and they got to be careful about what they leave to the end.
Yeah, they do. So the picture you just sent me, for context, is that from right now in this race, or was that from practice beforehand?
That is live coming to me from a driver.
Okay, so then in that run, they were getting down to 35% tire wear, which is extremely low. And that was not going as far as they could go on fuel. They could take it even further. They could get these things down to like 20% tire wear. So you're exactly right. you can shoot out of a cannon, you can gain a ton of time, but you may want to think twice about that because you've still got a ways to go. We got to get to lap 125. So far, knock on wood, it has been a green flag race, no yellows to be seen. And as we say that, the 48, big nose damage on that machine, trying to get down pit road, up onto the conch. What is going on here?
He's fighting a left front that doesn't want a left front. Oh, when he hit the barrier, he's in. Oh, no. Let's dial up a replay of this one because that one caught my attention out of nowhere. How did this happen? Well, it happened quite a while ago, I'll tell you that. I sort of don't know where this happened. Out of the pits, actually.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Was that a...
How was that not a wreck? He hit. There was contact.
We're going to pull one more angle of that because I am kind of in shock of what I just saw, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, how he hit Herzog. How did Herzog get away from that with not an issue? And meanwhile, Naj, I mean, you can see the front end just completely gone on that car.
Yeah, the iRacing god smiling down on Herzog there, not to get him spun around. But what I want to know is how did he get that damage in the first place? Because, like you said, that was coming out of the pits. He just couldn't turn. Now he's going to pull down towards the garage, it seems. I don't know what's going on there. Matt Harmon, the race leader, at least by value of inheriting it through all the pit sequence, going to come down pit road. That'll hand it back to Caleb Brown, Brad Kress, and look at this. Adam Bossi lost 2 seconds to Caleb Brown just for staying out those 2 extra laps. So that is going to be a big, big deal. We're getting down to the end of this. We got 45 laps to go. Not a lot of time for him to reel these leaders in. 4 seconds, or 2 seconds, going to be more than you think as they work their way around this track. I don't know. Caleb Brown might have played the strategy right here. We'll have to wait and see.
Caleb Brown might have timed this absolutely perfect, but Adam Bossi here, you got to watch and see what he can bring along. He's behind the 54, Samson Lewis Jr. here, who is going a lap down at the moment. He's going to work his way around and get his way through. Samson lifts a little bit early, gives some good room there to Adam Bossi, and I think there's a little bit of a go-get-him tiger in there that he probably was saying, as well as Adam Bossi going to work his way forward, find his way along. Chad Winstead, another second behind here, as he's going to work his way around Tyler Ruelas and go down the inside. Tyler's going to stay to the high side here. No harm, no problems. And they continue their way along as well. Brad Kress, look at this, a 10th up to the front, is going to try to make a move. But in Terry Brooks, a 10th of a second separating them as they go. So great battles continuing to develop. And meanwhile, we're not done up in the front. And where's my pick, Al Corey? He's sitting in 12th place again, managing that pace, 23.4s. His fastest lap of 23.2. He's sitting 23.3 last time around. He is managing just perfectly that he needs to do. And if there's enough fall off from enough of the field, you never know what could happen. But right now, these front two absolutely pushing each other.
They are pushing each other, but that might actually be to their detriment here as they are so focused on one another. Adam Bossi is closing in. Don't look now. It was about 2 seconds. Now it's about 1 on the nose. And when he gets a little bit closer, that draft down the straightaway is going to pull him a little bit closer. So I would not count him out. Lap 85 out of 125. Really interesting to see if he can make this move. Because remember, Brad, the first time around, taking the lead was not a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. He had to set that 17 up, and he made probably 6 or 7 unsuccessful attempts at it before he finally got the run. But now he's got an advantage he did not have before, and that is 2-lap pressure tires, and that can make all the difference. As for the lead, the number 9 is going to get the 17 a little bit unsettled. Dive to the bottom, not quite going to get clear yet. Bouncing off the outside wall, it is going to check him up enough, but they're going to go into 3 and 4, nose to nose. At 17, no stranger to the outside. This is the exact defensive line he was using against Adam Bossi earlier. And it's going to work again. He's going to get clear even with that wall scrape earlier. Back to the point. Oh my goodness, defensive driving masterclass right there.
And look who's come to the fray now. Who is this little purple and white number 83 Twitchmobile? Well, it is none other Then Adam Bossy, as Brad Kress again, as we ride on board with Adam, works his way up the inside of Caleb. And now Brad Kress, Caleb Brown, they're not done battling here. And as they do, Adam's going to be looking at this, just thinking, all right, guys, go ahead, get a little wiggly, race a little hard, and then just give me the position. Let's go for it here. Winstead, you see a little wiggle in the background there, but he's able to keep it straight, keep it going here. And lap 90 approaching of 125. We're going to have another lead change here between some of the big guns. Brad Kress, Caleb Brown. Caleb Brown still using that outside to defend. What a glorious move he's able to make work as they go along the inside here. Again, Brad Kress has great run through the corners, but on exit, that outside line with Caleb Brown, he's just able to take off a little bit further. But on the corner entry, it looks like Brad Kress able to send it through, but just able to get on throttle a little bit earlier to the outside. Caleb Brown through. Now look at Adam Bossy right to the rear bumper here as these two continue side by side. Nothing separating them. Adam Bossy just thinking, man, I'd love to get past both of you all and get a run on.
Oh, into the outside wall again. The 17 going to check himself up. That may be enough. The number 9 might get clear here. I think he's going to slide up. That is very good for Adam Bossy because that right there, the side-by-side helped him catch up. But if they stayed side-by-side, it would have become a detriment because he would have had 0 options, 0 lanes to try to make an overtake. Now that they're single file, he was able to get around the 17, benefit from that little bit of a mistake. And now to the bottom of the track, 2-lap pressure tires. He is going to try to get it in one single attempt. Can he do it? First try. Good roll speed on the bottom, and he is going to do it with a little bit of grace from Brad Kress. I think Kress could have forced the issue there. I think he gave him a little bit of a courtesy lift, but either way, Bossy is going to take the lead back much sooner than I was anticipating. That is the power of 2-lap tires, Brad.
You wouldn't think 2 laps would make all the difference here, considering it's only about 45 seconds of pace on 2 laps, but you never know what 45 seconds can sometimes do when it comes to tire degradation. So it's great to see here. And now look who else has joined the fray. Chad Winstead, Alan Kunman. We're just making it a party up front because after these 5, you got to go 6.5 seconds back to Kyle Dewey, who's under a little bit of pressure by Kyle Gresh, gap about half a second as they go. Winstead, Brown, side by side. Caleb Brown, are you going to drop another position on us? It definitely looks like he was driving his tires hard there early, trying to hold off Adam Bossy, trying to hold off Brad Kress, and I think unfortunately that and that wall tap has not paid off for Caleb Brown as he comes through. A little wall scrape there on the exit of 2 yet again. And here we go as Chad Winstead, again, trying to work that inside, trying to clear. He's going to push it, have some great run on entry. Can he get a great run on exit? You got to mind the car. And Caleb Brown with some great defense there coming through. And Kunman, that is around the 81, the Cinnabon car of Mark Jarrell. Absolutely scaring me there. But now Caleb Brown, Alan Kunman. Oh, is this the downfall of Caleb Brown? It feels like it here. Or maybe he's just saving tires in the last 20 laps. He's going to send it back to the front.
Caleb Brown shooting down the running order. I think that wall tap did a little bit more than we thought. It looks like that car is a bit of a handful. He cannot get that thing to the bottom to save his life. And he can't carry the speed up top that he was carrying before. I think that's more than just simple tire wear. I think that is absolutely the damage affecting the aerodynamics of that machine. And again, this is such a fast track for these guys. Very little off-throttle time, a lot of corner speed. Any amount of aerodynamic damage is going to impact your lap time quite significantly, and that is exactly what we've seen so far out of the 17. But it was a good run. It was a good run right up until it wasn't. Unfortunately, with just 28 laps to go, it's kind of coming undone here. But Kyle Dewey right behind Kyle Gresh, fighting with Dewey still for that position. But I'll tell you what, Chad Winstead, even though Brad Kress was kind of giving him a run for it here, they've gotten single file, and that 0.6 of a second gap has sort of sustained, so I'm curious to see if Winstead maybe has anything for the race leader. It'd be tough to say that he does, because Adam Bossy has been class of the field all night long, but you never know. Winstead's been top 5 pretty much better part of the night, had pretty good pit strategy, no issues thus far. It's been a clean run. Maybe he's looking to top it off with something a little bit better than P2.
Definitely, I don't think anything's out of the question here as we go to the final 25 laps. And, man, this race has gone quick. I don't remember triple bypass racing going this quick here. Not a caution flag yet this race. We've had a couple of heart and throat moments, but nothing too crazy here as Terry Brooks works the outside line hard here around TJ Wood. further back in the field going through. Matt Harmon here in the number 28. He is trying to work on Mark Herzog for P12. Sean Bradley holding down the last of the top 10 places right now, with Cameron Kane about a second back as they go here. It's really impressive to sort of see the way these guys have just maintained here around Dover. They've been having a great time here, and I'm really, really enjoying seeing it as they go along and continue this battle. Just sort of keeping my eyes on things as it goes. Brad Kress again within a tenth of a second here of Winstead, so you never know. Kress might be able to give Adam Bossi a little bit of a run, because that gap is down to 0.6 of a second, closing a little bit as we go to 22 to go here on the race.
Yeah, this has been a phenomenal event. Again, knock on wood, but it has been green the entire time, which, like I said, Dover, you either get no wrecks because everybody's, kind of getting in the groove. They get single file, they figure it out, or you get a bunch. And I didn't know which way tonight was going to go, but the way that it's gone, not just for, us up in the booth, but for the league itself. Again, big milestone, 3 years of the league. And what better way to celebrate the league than to put on one of the best races I've seen all week in sim for any series. And it's just a really great event. Dover is fun. And this ARCA car, ever since iRacing has added it, I think it's been wildly underrated. And I'm glad to see these guys using it to its full potential, putting on fun races for us. As Adam Bossi, still 0.6 of a second, not really pulling away from Winstead whatsoever. That gap remaining just about the same. But it is maybe just a matter of him wanting to save those tires, don't cook them too much. You got 20 and a half laps to go. There is Caleb Brown, who did lead so many laps tonight. Even beat Josh Berry once in iRacing, so says the graphic, but that right front damage got to him. And yeah, 50 laps, Brad. That is not insignificant when, that's almost half the race we've run so far.
20 laps to go, and let's take a look here really quick. Adam Bossi has led 25 laps, and Brad Kress at least led 2 laps, and Alan Kunman hasn't led a lap, but has been in the discussion the whole time. So it's very, very impressive to see the variety of drivers here that have gone through. Our race recap here on the night: 19 laps to go, 6 leaders with 9 lead changes. So we've already talked about 4 of those leaders. I think Kyle Gresh was the 5th one, and I want to say Matt Harmon was the 6th one, if I had to guess off my memory, which I think I'm right on that. Matt Harmon trying to get a run down the inside here in that Ames Oil number 28, trying to go around Herzog, who's trying to fight that one hard in that in and out number 57, trying to make his way through, and Harmon able to get his way around nice and clean. Also checking in Sean Bradley, 0.3 of a second still to TJ Wood, closing that gap slowly but surely. Again up front though, Winstead, Brad Kress, less than a tenth separate them. Alan Kunman closing the gap here to just about 0.3 of a second. And this is where Brad Kress has to start to pick something through if he's going to 15 laps to go. Anything to play for at the moment, and really this is the point where it's make or break.
Yeah, you don't want to be making any mistakes now. Not going to be a lot of time to make up for it. Number 9 car trying to get down to the low line and try to make something happen, but I think that 97 running the slightly higher groove is going to be just fine. Again, they're getting to the point where the tires are fairly worn again, so that high line, not a bad option as you start to get a little bit tighter throughout the run. Holding on to second place, although Adam Bossi did gain 0.3 just in that lap alone. It was 0.7, now up to 0.4 through that corner. So I think maybe Bossi was saving, and now he's decided no more, because he is just shooting away like a rocket as these two battle for P2. Winstead, Kress, Kunman not far behind. But then you got quite a gap back to Caleb Brown in P5, with Kyle Gresh not too far back from there. And these guys have really been, it's been a very samey top 10 all night. Not a lot of comers and goers. Everybody who's in the top 10 has pretty much spent the whole night here, kind of settled in. The only real big movers were Adam Bossi and Kyle Gresh, who was outside of that top 10. But either way, it has been really fun. And this number 3 trying to get a move done for P3. Not quite going to get there yet, but he is on the bumper. He's got momentum. I think we might see a new face on the podium here.
Definitely feels like we will. Brad Kress was finally able to work his way past Chad Winstead there after so many laps behind. He set it up, and now Winstead has to try to hold on to it through to the end, which is easier said than done as they'll come along. 12 laps to go this time by, and they will continue to battle here. Kunman trying to work his way through with the move, if he can find it. He's kind of poking the nose inside, outside. He's not really committing to try any moves. It's sort of just half looks at the moment, trying to get an idea of where Kunman is slow and when he wants to set that move, or of Winstead. When Winstead is slow, not when Kunman is slow. Kunman would know when he's slow. And right now, Kunman feels like he's not slow anywhere as he's pushing this round along. A little bit of a slide there from Winstead, and Kunman now, I think, going to be trying to make the move here. He's going to go a little bit lower on the exit of 4. And as he comes along, it's going to be nothing yet. Closing the gap, 10 laps to go.
Yeah, not a lot of time remaining in this event. Good battle here for P10. Cameron Kane, TJ Wood, and a couple of cars duking it out for late race points. And again, every point going to matter. You talked about the point situation going into this race, Brad. Pretty close. And, these guys want to capitalize. It doesn't matter. They're going to go for it, and that's what these guys are doing. And this ARCA car provides such good racing. These guys can really get up close and personal. It handles well enough that they can, race close, but it's difficult enough. The skill ceiling's high enough that still takes quite a bit of talent. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. A lot of fun to be had in this car, and it is going to be an overtake complete for, I believe, I can't hardly see the door number on that. And again, I don't cover this league typically, so I'm not going to recognize every car right away. Evan back there as well. Man, oh man, what a night it has been. Adam Bossi now out to a 2-second lead, Brad. It stayed at 0.6 for like 10 consecutive laps. And then I mentioned he seemed to turn on the afterburners. He quit saving, and away he went. 2 seconds now over Kress, over Winstead. He could basically just take parade laps around this place to get to the checkered flag, and he would probably still win it. A couple of lap cars around him, the 84 behind. I think the 84 might be on fresher tires. We'll have to see what plays out there, but either way, dominating performance so far.
Yeah, this is kind of getting ridiculous here for Adam. He's just absolutely just running away with it as he goes. Matt Harmon, Cameron Kane back in the back. They're going side by side with Mark Herzog as well, trying to find his way along the 28, the 57, and the 37 here. This is the battle for P10. If you're looking for a top 10 result, you got to get past Matt Harmon, and Matt Harmon is going to defend it and defend it hard. Let me tell you, Kyle Dewey looking to get past Caleb Brown. Is this going to drop Caleb Brown outside of the top 5? That would be a fall from grace if I've ever seen one here. As we go through 5 laps to go, currently here in the Culture Designs 125. Kyle Dewey looking for a move down the inside on Caleb Brown. Is he going to get it? A little bit of side by side. I don't see anything. A little bit of door banging as they exit, forcing the move there. Caleb Brown says, nope, you're going to give me the space, and holds on to it. 4 laps to go this time.
Yeah, Caleb Brown desperately clawing for that position, trying not to fall outside of the top 5. But that is a good attempt by Kyle Dewey. He is on the bumper, made a really solid overtake attempt. Now he's lining up to try to do it again. Oh, he has got the corner speed closing in half a car length right there. I think that center of the corner speed is really where he's going to get him. He's going to move to the high line, see if he can't maybe make something happen up there. I don't think I've seen a high line pass so far tonight, but you never know. He drives down the banking, great run from the top to the bottom. That's what he was doing, driving it down the banking, getting to that low groove. They're going to touch doors. It's going to be side by side for P5, continuing to door slam all through the corner. These drivers are not leaving each other an inch. Give the advantage to the 17 on corner exit. He's going to get a huge run out of the turn, as he has tended to do so many times tonight. And again, that number 33 sliding up to the door. He's going to go all the way down, try to get away from him there, but then into the corner. I don't know who's going to get it now. Back to the leader. This is the white flag lap. 2.5 seconds separates him and P2. So at this point, it is a victory lap. Lap car into the wall on his outside. A reflexive move to get down out of the way of that. And with that little scare done and sorted, Adam Bossi is going to go from the back to the front and win the 3-year anniversary 125 lap Culture Designs 125 here at Dover. And that battle for P5 looks like Caleb Brown was able to defend it just barely. No, he pulled up to the door, but unable to make it happen.
Yeah, Caleb Brown there able to defend that out. Kyle Dewey, P6. Then Gresh, Brooks, Sean Bradley, Al Corey. You see the congratulations coming from everyone here on Adam Bossy. A little bit of a bump to the rear end there just to show some love as we get ready for the best part of any sort of stock car racing, the burnouts coming through here on the night. There we go. Gotta love it. Got to love it. It's always great to see Adam Bossy and anybody really get to put in some donuts here as they go along, because I try to find a good shot of those donuts now. There we go. Now that is the shot. And let's go ahead and go through our race results here on the night. When it's all said and done, Adam Bossy gets the win. Second place, Brad Kress. Chad Winstead in third. Alan Cum in P4. Caleb Brown in fifth. Kyle Dewey, Kyle Gresh, Terry Brooks, Sean Bradley, Al Corey finishing out your top 10. Al Corey pulling out a top 10 from just being nice and smooth and consistent. That's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, sometimes that long-term thinking, like you said, gets you a good points day. Final car on the lead lap is going to be TJ Wood. And he was actually up there battling for the lead at one point, fell back a little bit through the cycle, and he is going to be at P11. Zach Nerney, first car lap down, P12. Then you got Walker McNulty, Daniel Williams, Jason Benson, Mark Jarrell, James Honeycutt, Mark Herzog, who had that very close call we caught on that replay. Ward Fisher going to be the first car 2 laps down, running at the top 20. It is going to be Tyler Ruelas. And then the rest of the field, just to get through, we're not going to forget them outside of the top 20. Cameron Kane, Matt Harmon, Samson Lewis Jr., John Crutchley, Jacob Holm, Zach Armstrong, Gary Wright, Timothy O'Connor, and Nathan Hemperly is going to round out your field 128 laps down, which is impressive given it was only a 125-lap event. But iRacing's timing and scoring is a little bit interesting like that.
Yeah, I've never understood it, but, sometimes it does the things that it does, and I never really get it for some reason. Trying to look to see if we have our race winner here hanging around, and I don't see him anywhere, so I think we're going to start, actually, with third place. Chad Winstead will... Actually, no, there's Adam. All right. So let's grab Adam Bossy up here into the booth. Adam, sir, talk about a hard-fought race, man. 2 laps difference in tires seem to give you the advantage.
Yeah, I was not expecting this tonight, especially after practice. I knew I didn't have speed in the car, but I knew if this thing ran green, there was an opportunity for it. And when I saw them pit, I knew I was going to have tire advantage, so... everything worked out in the end, and it's finally good to be sitting in victory lane for once.
Absolutely, man. Great to see you up at the front. I got to ask, though, did you think this race was going to go caution-free, or what was your strategy if it did have some cautions? What were you thinking you were going to do in that number 83?
Triple Bypass is known for having some of the best guys in the league, best guys on iRacing, really, and they know how to keep it pretty clean. So kudos to them. I think every week we have an opportunity to do it. And, if the caution would have come out, I was hoping that I was saving enough tire, which it seems like I did it there at the end. But, kudos to the rest of the league for keeping it clean and green and, giving me an opportunity to just kind of drive it.
Absolutely. And, man, got to ask you, next week going in, we go to Iowa for 135 laps. How are you feeling going into March?
Yeah, I'm actually feeling really good. I had Dover circled as kind of the start of the calendar where I think I can make a run, as long as I was there in the points, up to that point. And at this stage of the game, I think I am. So we're going to go to Iowa. We're going to give it hell again. Maybe we'll come back-to-back winners.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on the big win here tonight at Dover. You upset Miles the Monster because you didn't feed him, but I think a win is a good way to handle that.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, and moving on from there, let's go to second place on the night. Brad Kress, wherever he is hiding, there he is. And Brad, it's Brad, man. Second place on the night, hard-fought battle. How did it feel, man? We went 125 laps, not a single caution.
Hey, how's it going, Brad? Yeah, I know. I'm burning up right now.
Man, that was a good one.
Long race, but it went quick.
Yeah, not a single moment to breathe there going through. But, man, I tell you what, that battle up at the front, I had a hard time deciding who was going to win for a little bit because it was just 5 of you guys going back and forth: Caleb Brown, Kunman, Winstead, Adam Bossy, and you.
Yeah, I seen when we cycled through, I was in front of Caleb, and I kind of backed out to let him go because I didn't want to burn the tires up early. And then whenever Adam caught us, I was like, oh boy, because I knew Adam, he pitted a few laps after we did, so I knew his tires were better than ours. So I went high thinking I could hold him off for a minute, but he just went right around me like it wasn't anything. So he checked out.
And how were the tires, Brad? How were your tires feeling through at the end of the first run? Because we got some info on the back end that some guys were down into the 30s for tire wear. So I got to wonder, how was your car feeling?
I think if I remember right, at the end of the first run, my tires were in the 50s. I felt like I saved them pretty good because before I came down pit road, I was actually catching the leaders. So I was kind of bummed out that I had to pit, but yeah, I was catching them pretty good. I dropped my stuff.
Absolutely, man. And it was great to see. I got to ask, anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I want to shout out Adam on the win, Terry for sponsoring the series,